Welcome back to the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
A lot of fights to break down this past weekend. We're talking Crawford, we're talking Warrington, we're talking Teofimo right here on the opening bell. Let's set it off with what happened in New York City, Barak. Even though you and I were in Omaha, Nebraska, watching a pound-for-pound can't go to work, Teofimo had a last-minute replacement in Sandor Martin, who recently beat former pound-for-pound guy Mikey Garcia. So we knew going into this fight that it wasn't going to be an easy night for Teofimo. He's fighting a guy who has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. And that's what we got on Saturday night at the Garden. We got a very competitive fight, very close fight. Some even felt Sandor Martin won. I didn't. I think Teofimo edged it out. But when fights are that close, Barak, you know, I don't like when people start throwing the word robbery around. It doesn't, it makes me upset.
Oh, that's the end of it, huh? It makes you upset. Yeah, so I get it. Well, I tell you who.
that was the end of my sentence. So take it over.
I can tell you who thinks that Sandor should have won it is Sandor himself. He was very upset with the judging. He keeps stressing that he only had 3 weeks to prepare, and look how well he did. You got to take that into consideration. This is the thing, though. Sometimes we talk about a fight from one fighter's perspective. Oh, Teo did bad. No, Sandor Martin is a good fighter. Right. He's a very good fighter. I don't know if everybody thought it was going to be a tough fight, but I knew it was going to be a tough fight because I seen what he did to Mikey Garcia. Now, we can sit here and say Mikey Garcia wasn't the Mikey Garcia of old. The Mikey Garcia of old.
Wasn't.
Okay, I get that. But Floyd ain't Floyd. But when you're great, even though you're older and maybe you're not in the best shape, you're still great. You're still good. You're still good enough to beat some fighters. You know what I mean? And I think Mikey Garcia is one of those guys. He's a very smart fighter. He was never the fastest. He was never the strongest. Wasn't the most athletic, but he was very, very smart in there. And that don't go. You know, so I feel like, he didn't have the physical attributes, but he was still a good fighter. But Sandor Martin really outboxed him, so it showed me something. So I figured this particular tricky style that he has would be a little bit of a problem for Teofimo. I don't think Teofimo should sit there and say, because afterwards they caught him on camera saying, yo, do I still have it? Do I still got it? Those are his exact words. Right. Yes, you got it, brother. It's just that you fought a good fighter. And
it's just about style. I think it's about styles when it comes to stuff like that. Like,
absolutely.
You can be a really great fighter and you can look not great against certain guys. But I just want to
hold on. Let me finish. I know you love to cut me off, but I think the best thing for Teo to do, like if he really is questioning his skills, really questioning himself, go back and fight Kambosos.
Yeah,
seriously.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Prove to yourself that was a fluke, because that's where it all started, Ak.
Barak,
that's where the downfall mentally all started. Lost to Kambosos. Seriously.
Yeah, that actually might help him psychologically. But I'll tell you, you keep talking about Sandor Martin complaining and whining about not winning the fight. I get it.
I didn't say he was complaining and whining. He felt like he won.
He felt like he won. But here's the thing. The problem that I have, and for those that are looking at me, what the hell is wrong with Ak? Why is he talking funny? I got 2 wisdom tooth removed on this side, and I have a dry socket. It's still super painful, but I'm still here delivering this show for you guys. So,
bro, you're in your room. Like, come on, man. You're in your office.
I'm in my studio, right?
That's easy.
Now listen to this. I feel like when you fight the way Sandor Martin did, and trust me, if you know me, you know I like slick southpaws. I love Pernell Whitaker is my favorite fighter of all time. So it's not that I don't like guys that use lateral movement and angles and so on and so forth. But I particularly don't like the way he does it, because he's more on the back foot than anything. So when a guy is backing up and landing a scary, scary left hand and a scary right hook, that type of guy. Scary. No, that type of guy isn't a guy that can be poking his chest out. I got robbed. You're trying to win the rounds in a manner, maybe, and I don't want to disrespect him. I'm not saying he's scary, but it's very careful. Teofimo was pressing that fight. He was trying to make it an action-packed fight, and he got caught here and there coming in, but he pressed it. He was the aggressor and the more confident one in there. Sometimes when you watch a fight, you can see one guy confident and one guy careful. That's the 2 words that to me stand out. Teofimo was confident, trying to hurt him. He was careful, trying not to get hurt and score while at it. That's what I got from that fight overall. That's not to say he didn't win rounds and the fight wasn't close, but I don't want to hear robbery when you were fighting a completely careful fight, making sure you don't get knocked out. And you know, in the midst of that, you were boxing well, but you were not 100% confident in there.
Yo, this doesn't depend on confidence. It depends on landing shots. So yes, if you're talking to Martin and saying, hey, you literally lost the fight, you were backing up, then fine, talk to him. But it has nothing to do with confidence.
No, I mean, he didn't win the fight. I don't want to hear what I'm saying. I don't want to hear robbery. He fought a good fight. It was a close fight. He won rounds. He didn't do enough to win the fight, because if you watch that fight with no sound, no commentary, just watch it, at the end of it, you'll say, this guy was worried the entire night. This guy was trying to make the fight the entire night.
A lot of
that's my opinion. So
I'm not even trying to argue for Sandor Martin, but I just don't like what you're saying.
A
lot of guys fight on the back foot like Floyd. You know, like Lara.
No. Don't you ever mention Floyd Mayweather.
No, Floyd can fight on the back foot.
Well, Floyd fights
Floyd is the best. But listen,
Floyd fights on the back foot. Floyd fights on the back. Floyd fights on the back foot. But throughout any fight that he's ever fought on the back foot, even Maidana, Castillo, in all of those fights, there were moments in that fight where he was in the pocket confidently.
Okay, let me show you something.
Not one. Wait. I'm almost finished. Not one point in that fight with Teofimo was Sandor Martin in the pocket staying.
Get the hell out of here! You act like you didn't watch the fight. Like you're crazy. There were times where they mixed it up, but check this out. He didn't run the whole fight, but yes. Check this. Floyd Mayweather fighting Ricky Hatton, who was a smaller guy.
We
Ricky
got
Hatton
other fights to talk about.
Let me finish. Ricky Hatton going for As soon as I make you start looking crazy,
no, you're not making me look crazy.
Then let me finish.
You can't make my opinion look crazy. You can't make my opinion look crazy.
Let me finish, sir. Let me finish, sir. Ricky Hatton, smaller guy fighting Floyd. Ricky Hatton, because somebody punched you in the jaw who was in Omaha. That's what happened. So Ricky Hatton coming forward, smaller guy coming forward with his head, swinging at Floyd, back foot, boom, check hook, kind of like the same way Sandor Martin caught Teofimo and dropped him and knocked him out. His head hit the goalpost, the ring post, and he knocked him out. You know what I mean? So it's like you can still win on the back foot, but I'm not trying to say Sandor Martin won. I just don't like what you're saying. I think it was a good fight. Styles make you good or not. And I think Sandor Martin is just a good fighter. So I don't think Teo needs to hold his head down and say, oh my God. And I think some of the media need to chill and say that Sandor Martin, these are two good fighters fighting each other.
No doubt. You can't knock everybody out. From one close fight to another, let's move on to Josh Warrington, who was also in a battle. Very entertaining fight from the beginning. I mean, one thing you can say about Josh Warrington, wherever he goes, wherever he fights, there's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. So this fight, look, you talked about it. It wasn't going to be an easy fight for Josh Warrington.
No,
actually, I think you advise guys on the parlay to pick Warrington to make some money, and hopefully some people listen to you. Good thing I didn't place no green bucks on that.
I didn't say that to pick Warrington. Did I say that?
In a way, you insinuated.
Maybe I did. No. I said Lopez was. I said if you said pick Warrington, I said you're going to lose your money. That's what I said.
There you go.
I said if there's going to be an upset. I said if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be Lopez is going to beat Warrington.
And that's what we got. And that's what we got on the judges' scorecards, Barak. But the fight was super entertaining. Those type of fights, a lot of rounds are difficult to score, in my opinion. It depends on what the judge is looking for, whether it's effective punching, pressure, sometimes even good defense or ring generalship and leg work could win you rounds. So that fight was a battle where, in my opinion, it could have gone either way. And usually in a case like that, it goes to the hometown guy. So you would think Josh Warrington would get the nod. But there could have been 4 rounds in that fight that were super close, hard to score, where one person might have gave him to Warrington and the other judge might have gave him to Lopez. So it's very difficult to say. But the word robbery, just like in the last fight we just discussed, I don't want that word thrown around. I think that there's a fight that warrants a rematch, in my opinion. And kudos to both guys for leaving it all in the ring.
Yeah, it was a great display by Lopez. I kind of leaned toward Lopez not just because I saw that he was very tricky and I know he has power. So a tricky guy with power like Naseem Ahmed or something like that, those guys are very, very hard to beat. You got to really be on top of your game. Yeah. And you got to have something a little bit to hold them back too. And maybe that's what it was. Josh Warrington just didn't have the pop, even though that guy has the heart and he will go at you like he's the hardest puncher in the division, in the featherweight division. He's that kind of guy, but he didn't have that. And I think, Lopez has just reinvented his career. I kind of like that. I kind of like that he is showing his true skill set and going after these guys. And maybe the right man won. And I'm looking forward to see a rematch as well.
No doubt. Let's go over real quick to wrap things up. Omaha, Nebraska, big knockout. We all expected Bud to win that fight. We all been saying that he's knocked out his last 9 opponents. We all been talking about how great he is. He's pound for pound king. But you always still want to see it happen, right? You want to see it happen. He's fighting a guy who's coming over 6 knockout winning streak, who looked phenomenal against great undefeated prospects like Josh Kelly. The guy came and he showed that I still have the momentum. I'm coming to fight. And Bud did what he did. We were in the, first of all, just really quick, let me address the arena and the almost 18,000 people that came out for Terence Crawford. He brings them out in Omaha, and he never disappoints when it comes to excitement. Barak, I expected a stoppage win. I didn't expect a flat out going to sleep knockout, but Bud has proven that he is the hardest puncher in the division.
All I kept saying, wow, that's a pretty good claim. All I was saying this whole weekend was, and that's a claim that I've been saying for a while.
I mean, can you argue that?
No, I also say the same thing, but all I've been saying this whole weekend is, what do the fans want? I'm sick and tired of people trying to blame Bud for fights not happening. We know now that's not the case. And you really can't blame the other fighters as well. You can't blame Spence neither. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's the politics behind the scenes. And what else do you want? But everybody Bud is getting in the ring with, he's knocking them out. This is 10 fights in a row. When Triple G was doing that, and nobody thought Triple G was fighting any of the top guys at the time, when he had this 20-fight streak of knockouts. Nobody thought that when Jim Lampley and all of them was praising him on HBO. He wasn't fighting, he was fighting 154-pounder sometimes, and he's a 160-pound fighter. But everybody gave him the praise they felt he deserved. But for some reason, with Terence Crawford, they're not giving him the praise. They're not giving him the praise. And he's a small guy himself, and he came into a 147-pound division and stopped a guy that Pacquiao couldn't stop. Couldn't stop him. Pacquiao could not stop Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is huge, very big guy, and Crawford was just coming up, very small guy. Stopped him. He's stopping guys that other guys can't stop or beating them better. Stop Sean Porter. Nobody in the world could do that. You know what I mean? Look. He was visibly hurt the second knockdown. His father threw in the towel because he saw his son getting hurt. This is a special fighter. Yes, we want to see him fight Spence, but don't destroy his credibility because hasn't fought the guy that you wanted him to see him fight yet. Of course, I want to see him fight.
Look, look, really quick, I'm ignoring all of those critics that are complaining about this fight. The man has to feed his family. He got an opportunity to fight a guy that will give a lot of other welterweights hell in there. But when you take care of business and dispatch a guy like that, then that's where the discredit comes. Oh, this guy was this guy was that. Go do your history, watch his last 6 fights, and look what he was able to do with those last 6 opponents. And it shows you how great Terence Crawford really is. Hopefully we get the fight that we all want down the line, but that's not to say that Terence, again, has to kneel and comply with whatever the other team and the other party wants. It has to make sense for him as well. He's earned the right to agree on a fight that makes sense for him and his family, just as it should for Spence. If Spence was to fight David Avanesyan, I would give him the same amount of credit. I wouldn't throw no shots on it at it if that was the opponent in front of him. He did what he had to do with a live dog, and it proved to the world that he's still pound for pound top dog. All right, and we can get into this later on, in the week or at some other point.
Tomorrow or something like that?
No, whatever. At some point, this fight is going to come up again, and this knockout. Maybe we'll get Terence on our show to talk a little further about it. But we just wanted to wrap it up with those fights this weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's our show. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.